Get ready for the New York subway attack to disappear from the mainstream media's coverage. The prime suspect, Frank James, is now under arrest. He is a self-described black nationalist who hates white people and is angered at black people too, apparently, for too easily submitting to white people.
We should not embrace, we should not accept the white devil blood that we have in us because of the way that it was forced upon us. We should try to find a way, just like Demi did in that scene from Exorcist, to reject that devil that's in us, even to the point of committing suicide, so to speak. Do a factory reset on our whole humanity and rehabilitate our humanity and cleanse it out.
Well, folks, you would think that this should be the main story here. A man so filled with hatred, he is willing to shoot 10 people on a subway train, firing 33 times after setting off smoke bombs and fireworks. You would expect the racist, violent rants of a now accused criminal to take center stage at this news conference today. But no. Apparently, racist, violent rants only matter if the suspect is white in today's America media landscape, because after more than a dozen questions from reporters, not one out of all the reporters in the room asked anything about the suspect's violent disgust for white people. Only one reporter asked about the motive, and once again, political correctness took over inside the NYPD, and we got this from the lead investigator.
As to the investigation into the motive and to look and scour his social media, that's still part of the ongoing investigation.
See, nobody wants to talk about all of the violent rants we listen to on social media. Now, I want you to ask yourself, if a white man from Alabama shot up a subway car after spewing violent threats against people of color, do you think we would get 0 questions about those hate-filled videos and only 1 question about the motive? Of course not. See, the media is derelict here. It is irresponsible, and its bias is dangerous. Just listen to the accused gunman, a man the FBI just revealed was on the terror watch list up until 2019.
White people and black people, as we call ourselves, should not have any contact with each other. You still refuse to understand this. You want to make up some story about some Jesus and the Bible said dumb shit. They don't see it that way. They hate your guts. And why do they hate your guts? Because they know that your rightful place is as a slave.
If you want to kill somebody, I mean, could anything be more perfect than that you now have, it's mandated.
I've been through a lot of where I can say I wanted to kill people. I wanted to watch people die right in front of my face immediately.
That guy is a deranged, racist lunatic, and he took his anger out on a subway car in New York. My fear is the media fuels that anger you just saw there with its all-out insistence that white nationalism is the greatest threat to America. He said that I hate all black people, white people do. I don't hate black people at all. This is craziness. I want safety for everyone in this country, and I don't care what color you are. But the media comes out and says that all white people, all Trump supporters, well, we're the ones that are supposedly violent. Just listen to the media's rhetoric along with those Democrat politicians.
White supremacy,
peddling racism and white supremacy.
A country that's so rooted in white supremacy.
a symbol of white supremacy.
It's white supremacy. It was white privilege.
If white supremacy means I want opportunity for everybody, regardless of their color, then I guess I'm a white supremacist. Because that's all I want, is equal opportunity for everyone. But because of that rhetoric, the media is absolutely culpable in situations like this. That hatred and the vitriol for white Americans is what fuels people like Frank James.
If you're of African descent,
we need to find a way to come together because we have a common enemy. We have colonialists and people who want to dominate us for the rest of our existence. And I'll continue to remind you, if the day and the time comes when we are ever separated from our white master, for real.
These white Republicans, they're saying Constitution and Bill of Rights. They want something new and different that doesn't allow you as a black, as a have any power.
Folks, a news conference in New York City today, filled with reporters. Not one of them asks investigators about those racist, hateful comments. That's a sad take on where the media is in America today. And while much of America buys into the media nonsense of white supremacy, this latest subway attack doesn't come close to fitting that narrative. Neither do all the Black Lives Matter riots that cost us billions in damage, injuring and even killing too many to count. But they were all mostly peaceful, right? Then there's the Christmas parade attack, where a Black Lives Matter goon mowed down mostly white parade goers. His pre-attack videos also spewed hate towards white people. The media dropped that story too. Even the latest mass shooting in Sacramento turned out to be more black-on-black crime that put everyone in danger. These are real threats the media ignores instead of opting to exploit tragedy, push left-wing gun control. That's what the media does.
The violence that we saw just today shows us how urgent gun reform is in this country, how overdue it is.
Remove dangerous people off our streets and dangerous weapons off our streets. We need a national response to this issue.
They don't have this problem in countries where there aren't guns all over the place.
When you take away guns, you take away gun violence.
They are a bunch of idiots who hate freedom in America. The accused subway shooter bought his gun legally. He even successfully completed a background check to get it in 2011, which means no new gun law would have stopped him, except one. New York giving the right to every eligible law-abiding citizen the ability to carry a firearm in public. A good guy with a gun is always the best way to stop a bad guy with a gun. And yet, instead of putting guns in the hands of good people, the good people of New York are disarmed, while the bad ones arm up and wreak havoc with no fear of being stopped.